Today I am nominating Chief Judge Merrick Garland to join the Supreme Court.
And President Obama announcing his choice for the vacant Supreme Court seat. Judge Merrick Garland is the chief judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. He was on previous Obama administration shortlists as a potential Supreme Court nominee. Joining us now to discuss is WSJ Law Deputy Bureau Chief Ashby Jones. Hi, Ashby. Thanks for being with us.
Hello.
So what do we know about Judge Garland's record? He has prosecuted some high-profile domestic terror cases, correct?
Right. Well, he was instrumental in the prosecution of the Timothy McVeigh case, obviously the Oklahoma City bombing situation, which got him a good deal of notoriety back in the 1990s, and that really sort of catapulted him into a position where he could be considered for a judicial seat. He's been on the D.C. Circuit for a long time now, and has sort of carved a path, if you can even say that, as being a pretty moderate, maybe tilting slightly left of center, but being a pretty moderate, thoughtful, careful judge.
But President Obama characterizes his decisions as consensus building, which is clearly something that it seems that he needs right now. Is that an accurate depiction of his record?
I think so. You know, you comb through his opinions in the past, and it's hard to find opinions or writings that are you know, fueled with ideology or you know, speak very sort of passionately about a topic. He's very much kind of a stick to the facts, stick to the law, stick to the case, kind of keep your head down and do your job, and not bring ideology into things. And so I think that's very accurate. And he's chief judge, and so part of the role of the chief judge on any court is to build consensus, to get the judges in line, to get sort of everybody rowing in the same direction.
Certainly a great quality. Now, as we mentioned earlier, he has been on President Obama's shortlist before. Is the speculation that he sort of kept him in a back pocket for a time like this when he knew he might get a lot of Republican pushback?
You know, at some point we'll know the full story as to what happened and how Garland came to be President Obama's choice. As of about 9 o'clock this morning, still the tea leaves were very much in favor of another judge on that bench named Sri Srinivasan, an Indian American, very highly regarded, much younger judge. But then sort of at the 11th hour and 59th minute, there was a change, and Judge Garland got the pick. Why that is, I think you could speculate as to why that is. Maybe he will seem more appealing to the GOP.
This pick is certainly not promoting the idea of a more diverse court, and that is something that President Obama has spoken about before.
That's right. That's right. So I think he whatever his motivations, what he has done is he has chosen somebody who is a centrist, who is not a wave maker. Right. I think Obama realizes that if he's going to get anybody through at this point, it's going to be somebody who has, you know, you know, just the least baggage of anybody.
Now, what do we think the GOP reaction is going to be? Because let's speculate for a moment. There's a very good chance that, you know, Hillary Clinton could be in the White House, be our next president, and she may not nominate such a centrist judge if the GOP refuses to accept Judge Garland. So do you think that's part of the calculation here?
Who knows? I mean, it's part of what makes not only this election, but this whole Supreme Court situation so unbelievably compelling, in my opinion, is what is everybody thinking? We really have no idea. I think your point is right on point, that you know, if Hillary Clinton were to win, there's no guarantee that she wouldn't select somebody who's going to be a little bit less moderate, maybe farther to the left. So maybe Obama's saying, like, hey, look, guys, this is the best you're going to get. The GOP has been in lockstep on this, though. They have said, from Chuck Grassley to Mitch McConnell on down, we are not holding hearings, we are not budging an inch.
And what is the legal precedent on blocking high court nominees?
Well, there really isn't a legal precedent. There's nothing. I mean, the Constitution is very sort of vague on this and open-ended. It basically says the Senate's role is to advise and consent anybody that the president puts out there. So that's all they have to do. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to hold
precedent for this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Senate, it goes back really. This whole issue of blocking nominations goes back to the 1980s with Judge Robert Bork, who was a very controversial Reagan appointee, and the Democrats then led partly by Democratic senators said no, we don't want this guy, and so Reagan had to shift gears. So there is a history of this, but I don't think there's really a history of saying we are not going to hold hearings.
Right.
Period.
Not even going to consider it without even knowing who your pick is.
That's right.
But what happens now? I mean, the Supreme Court has been meeting for about a month with only 8 justices. What happens if there is a 4-4 split?
Well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, basically, if a 4-4 split comes up, it basically says, okay, well, we're not. It's basically the same as saying we're not making a decision in this case, and
kicking it down the road.
The decision, either down the road or back to the lower court. It's basically saying like the decision that is being appealed from a lower court just stands. We're basically just kicking this back down. That decision stands. It's like we're not doing anything with it necessarily. So
not ideal.
Not ideal. Not ideal at all. And it's why we have an odd number of justices, right? So we can break ties and not get into this situation. So, but it looks like we might be in this 8-justice situation for some time.
Going forward. Ashby Jones, thank you so much for that analysis.
You bet.